Welcome to the Culture Course Show, where we help you attract top talent, the best employees, and we help you create a company culture where those employees are going to thrive. This week's episode, employee performance. What is one thing that you've got to be doing? What's one thing that you could do to help make sure that you are increasing employee performance? What is that thing? This week, we're going to talk about something that most people aren't doing. It's kind of one of those things, it's simple, but it's not easy, right? It's not rocket science, but sometimes people have a hard time implementing. It's simple, but not everyone does it. Dr. Henry Cloud, he speaks at conferences all over the country. He basically helps organizations get stronger. And when he's speaking to a lot of these leaders, he often makes leaders kind of look in the mirror. He challenges you. He convicts you. He's on stage and he's going to kind of rub you the wrong way to make sure that you're growing. And one of the things that he asks you to do and to ask yourself as you're looking in the mirror, he says this: does your team know how they are going to win? Does your team know how they are going to win? Now, this is different than an episode that we did a few weeks ago. We talked about making sure that your team knows what a win looks like. They've got to make sure that they know where they are going. This is about how are they going to get there? What actions, what steps can be taken so that your team knows what they have to do so they know how they can win? Most of us know that we need to tell our employees what winning looks like, but it's the X and Y's, it's the tactics, it's the steps. And I think often as business owners or as managers, we either don't communicate that or we complicate it. We do one of those two things. Well, if you want to increase employee performance, you've got to do it, and you have to do it simply. I recommend doing it this way. 3 steps. If you want to win, we are going in this direction. This is what winning is. And this is how you do it. You do it with 1, you do it with 2, you do it with 3. 3 steps that can communicate what your employees have to do, how they're going to engage and act and make sure they're going to win. This week's episode brought to you by the free resource that we have for you at culturecourse.com/hiring. Culturecourse.com/hiring. You will be able to watch a video, go through several slides, learn about this framework for free that you can implement and act on so that you can hire, find awesome people, and build a great company culture. All right, so 3 things that you've got to do to win. That's what you got to communicate to your team. These are the 3 things that you need to do. And you have to obviously make sure that they are in chronological order or they're connecting to each other, or maybe there are 3 things that are just going to be helpful overall, right? And Michael Hyatt, he does this well. He talks about often that whenever you're controlling your week or your month or your schedule or you're trying to complete goals, he says you have to have a big 3. What are the big 3 things that are going to be defined as a win? So maybe instead of 3 steps with your team, you're saying these are the big 3 things that you've got to do. Either way, breaking it down with 3 things is extremely important. That's extremely important. So how are they going to get there? Yes, we've talked about that in a previous episode, but what are the 3 steps that they've got to do to make sure that they will be able to win? Because you might have a team who's motivated, who's ready to go and is ready to work, but some people might be arriving at that win in a different place or in a different way or confused on how to do it. You've got to communicate it. You've got to communicate it clearly. I would say even this, and this is probably one of the things that's missed most, and that is everyone in your team has to know kind of what their important functions are. Okay, so in my team, we've got assistants and we've got advisors and we've got, people who are running automation and budgeting and all kinds of different roles. Well, I create for each of them a big 3. I create for each of them, this is how you've got to do your job. These are the main things that you've got to focus on to win. So it can't necessarily just be for the entire team, but I think it needs to be siloed for each function, for each employee. So Your call to action this week is determine with maybe one subset of your team, maybe it's sales this week, maybe it's the admin staff this week, I don't know. But this week, determine what could the big three be? What are the 3 steps? What's the how winning is going to happen for at least one subset of your team? Don't try to get overwhelmed. Again, this is simple, but it's not easy. Part of the things that can make it difficult is if you're getting overwhelmed by it, right? So let's not think about the entire company as a whole. Just think of one subset, one niche part of your employees, and what are 3 things that they can do to make sure that they're winning. Identify those 3 things this week. Write them down and then communicate them and repeat them often. culturecourse.com/hiring, free resource for you. A video that you can watch. It's extensive. There's a lot of great information in there, guys, and it's free. Take advantage of this. culturecourse.com/hiring. This is going to be the framework that you need to help you find awesome talent and to make sure that they're going to kick butt for you. All right. This week, you're going to find out what the 3 things are, the big 3 things, big 3 steps to make sure that your team knows how to win following these 3 steps. Have a great week.